What's going on, guys? Today I'm on the Yamaha MT-03. I was just on the XSR 700. Really fun bike. This is slightly different. This is obviously the naked bike with the 300 engine. And right off the bat, I gotta say, what an approachable little bike. This bike, when I was looking at it, it sits a lot lower than some of the other, the MTs. I think the seat height comes in about 30 inches. So very approachable. I think it can suit a variety of different riders. It's just a fun little bike. I believe the horsepower is around like 47 and the torque comes in about 26 foot-pounds. The MT-03 is kind of like their entry level into their naked bikes, and it comes in at about $5,000, which is very, very easy on the wallet for most people, I would say. So if you're looking at this bike, the assumption is that you're probably a beginner rider, or maybe you're coming back into motorcycling, or maybe you're looking for like a second or third bike to add to your garage or to your ownership. Whatever the case may be, I just really like the MT-03 value proposition. $5,000 is not gonna hurt anybody. $5,000 is a lot of money but for a motorcycle, I would say that's very friendly. And so whatever the reason might be that you're looking at an MT-03, I think it can kind of meet a lot of those requirements. If you're a new rider and you want something that's kind of easy to get along with, works for you, if you're coming back into motorcycling and you just want something very cheap and effective around town kind of stuff, commuting bike, I think this can kind of fit a lot of different needs. But yeah, you just saw right there, this engine is more than capable of a lot of applications. I don't like the misnomer that just a 300cc bike, you're going to get bored of it. I don't think that's true at all. What I like about smaller displacement motorcycles is that you can kind of push it harder. There's that saying, it's more fun going fast on a slow bike. And I think that's true because you can really push this bike to the limits. And I would say the MT-03, handles it pretty well. The only thing that I'm kind of feeling is when you get it into the upper RPM range, the bike does get just a tad bit buzzy, but it's not overwhelming by any means. And on little sweepers like this, you can have a lot of fun. But yeah. So let's talk about the ergonomics for a second. I find this bike to be really comfortable, and I'm coming in from cruisers. So I'm used to low seat heights, laid back position, but this isn't bad at all. It is a little bit lean forward, and you have your feet tucked behind you just a tad bit, but overall it's very manageable. What I think the MT-03, as well as the other MTs, have going for it is their design. Now, I think it might be a little bit polarizing, but I find this design really appealing. Yamaha is not afraid to use bright, bold colors, and on the MT-03, this really works with that cyan-colored rims. It really sets it apart from the other naked bikes. Yeah, that feels good. These sweeping turns feel really good. Let's drop it into fourth gear. So I think this is one of the advantages of a smaller CC motorcycles is that I was on the XSR 700 on these curves, and I could barely get this thing out of second gear. But on this bike, I'm on fourth gear, I'm in the upper RPM ranges, so it feels a little bit more sportier than what the actual ride is, if that makes any sense. So that's saying it's fun to go fast on a slow bike. It really does ring true, especially when you're on group rides like this and you're not really going past 50 miles an hour, but it still feels like you're going fast, so you still get that little sporty rush. But yeah, I think some of the strengths of the MT-03 is that, like I said, it's approachable. It's not gonna really surprise anybody. It doesn't feel jumpy at all, or what I call kind of glitchy. It just feels smooth all throughout. It's not gonna throw you back, so it's very approachable in that sense if you're a beginner rider. And for more experienced riders, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun pushing this bike hard. This bike comes in at about 370 pounds, I believe, so it's the lightest of the MT-03s, which, is a benefit. so you can throw this around. It's very flickable. Very flickable into the turns. Yeah, I think these smaller displacement bikes get a bad rep. You know, these are fun, especially on kind of like slower, more laid-back rides. You have more bandwidth to be able to kind of push the bike harder. You get that sporty feeling, you get that fast feeling, quote unquote, without having to go fast, really. The suspension actually doesn't feel too bad at all. Like, I'm going through these bumps. It's not bad. The brakes, you know, are there. They do its job. They do feel a little kind of like wooden a little bit. There's not a whole lot of like actuation. Like, it's almost binary. It's like it's either not on or on. Going back to the ergonomics for a second, this is kind of nice. Uh-oh. Did we lose a rider? Let's see how this does on gravel. Another benefit of a smaller CC engine. We lost somebody? Getting out of that gravel is not a big a deal. It's actually an advantage of having a smaller CC bike there at that point. Very lightweight, wasn't scared at all. When I bought the Grom, my main point was like, it's such a fun bike, it's not that expensive, and I just felt really unbothered, you know, about the bike. And I think the same thing is true for the MT-03. It's a fun bike, it's not really overly expensive, $5,000. You just get on, you can have some fun. If you drop it, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you can get replacement parts, replacement plastics. And if you do want to upgrade at some point, you're not going to take a huge hit. I really do enjoy the smaller CC bikes, especially in the roads where I am. There's always a ton of traffic. Like you saw, there's a lot of unpredictability and slow drivers and whatnot. So the MT-03, I think, would suit me really well in these kind of applications. I really like the tank shape, actually. My knees or my thighs are like really nicely tucked in, and I feel like that helps with the aerodynamics, obviously. It's not like mind-blowing speed or anything, or mind-blowing torque or horsepower, but it's enough to have fun. My buddy over there behind me, I think his name is Mike, just mentioned, hey, that little bike has a really good sound to it, and I agree. The engine does sound pretty good for what it is. But at the end of the day, the MT-03 is exactly what you think it is. It's entry level, but in all the right ways. It's exactly what you expect it to be. Nothing more, nothing less. Minimal tech, just a really fun bike. It's not gonna cost you a whole lot, $5,000. But for $5,000, you can go out there and have yourself a lot of fun. If this is your first bike, you know, I would say very easy to learn on. Not a whole lot of things that'll scare you about the bike. If you're an experienced rider, maybe this is a second motorcycle that you can keep in your garage for just fun track days or even. But for me, I definitely enjoy this ride. I hope you guys did too. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, I'll see you all later. Peace.